If King Fasa tells you anything, he's lying. I won the game and I expect my prize. And this is like about the 5th time, Benjamin, the director stroke producer, you have not given me my gift. This is like, this is anyway, yanakuja. Yaspite sindwele sijui ama nani alikinini at Y254 Facebook, Y254 channel on X, Y254_channel on Instagram. Yes, it is #Empowerment Cafe time. This is just basically where we celebrate amazing humans, because not all the time news, oh, something has happened, terrible darkness, end time kind of information. No, sometimes we celebrate wonderful people, wonderful humans who are doing wonderful things, especially when it's community-based. Now, if you allow me, I will allow her to introduce herself. She looks very beautiful, by the way. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know. You have CEO, but with a touch of bad girl, like a bad girl Lily. So it's giving. It's the jacket that's giving.
Oh, it's the jacket that's giving. Oh, courtesy. My husband does
this. Good job. So it's giving.
And I know he's watching.
It's giving. Yeah, what's your good
name? My name is Beatrice Muthoni Gold, but I like being called Betty Gold. Okay. So that's the name I use.
Okay. Your middle name is my mom's.
Oh,
so
is it?
Technically my mom.
But many people in the current community we are living in don't know my middle name. Oh. Because I use Betty Gold for most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, before we get into the conversation, do you ever feel the need to, I don't want to say hide, but let's say omit maybe your traditional name just for the sake of peace, especially in the current turbulent political time?
Well, no. I'm very confident with the name that I was given, I mean, from my culture. And I'm proud to have been born from that tribe. Very proud indeed. And not because I'm a tribal person, but because I believe God doesn't make mistakes. Everyone is born where they are born for a purpose. And there are no mistakes why I am who I am. And actually, the word of God says, I am who I am by the grace of God. So there is no shame in my name. Okay. So I love my name.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes I feel a bit gun shy.
Oh, you do?
And then, not really because I have done something wrong. It's just, hey, all this talk of something kuguzwa, oh, sijui imefanyika nini.
Now it makes it even worse for some of us because I come from Nyeri. So that's where my mom comes from. So there is all stereotypes. All stereotypes, like, you know. So many times I think in the past, now I don't, but several times in the past I've heard of, you're the people who...
Something about transformers.
Yeah, no, transforming and beat.
Yo, okay,
but, you know, I say someone can be beaten if they are. They're not... Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah,
I'm
telling you.
All right, so we are here because you're doing something quite gracious for the community. Would you like to tell us about that?
I'm going to do a preamble for purposes of just the audience to understand. We have a ministry, an outreach ministry called Powered by Christ Ministry, which I say it's international because we are not only domiciled here. As a matter of fact, we have most of them. Our director is on the other side of the world. He's in the US. So we are here with a purpose to spread the good news and to birth hope where there is no hope. So Powered by Christ Ministry is purely an outreach and mission-oriented ministry where I am the deputy director. Now, in one of the ways in which we reach the community is through mentorship. And to be able to mentor, there is need for us to separate groups and to have a niche for every group. Okay. So I lead a ministry called Hope and Beyond for Women, which purely targets girls to women, I mean all ages. And our interest is to bring out the purpose of a woman. Okay. In a community where we know there are so many things that goes on. I mean, a woman is suffers many things. She is weak in many ways, but she's coming out very strong nowadays, you know. See how you're hosting this show, very nice.
Thank you.
So she needs to be nurtured. And sometimes when she suffers pain, she can easily fall. And being a nurturer, if she's not taken care of, she's going to bring out a broken child. So we have a very keen eye on a woman, and particularly any type of a woman who has suffered brokenness, pain, rejection, you know, all types of beating during their upbringing, whether it's at a later age, later part of their life, early part of their life, or middle part of their life. It doesn't matter. So that's what we do. And I think I would say it's been quite a blessing. We normally say we are the safe haven. We want to be the safe nest where she can come and just be. And in the long run, she will come back. We'll nurture her to come back to be the woman that she was ordained to be. Because every one of us was born with a purpose. But unfortunately, hopelessness can make you lose the meaning of life. Yeah, so that's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, small soft trigger. So first, my immediate question would be society, which is one of the words we had to push together for some reason.
Yeah.
We did not get it. But society has taught us, or has been feeding into our spirits, that women are not for women. We do not like each other. We're forever competing. Our worst enemy is our own selves, etc., etc. How does that fit in? Is that something you talk about? Is it even true? Is it just a narrative to keep us apart? Because the greatest thing is people who have united, you know. Let me not get into that particular narrative, but unity does a really, really good thing.
That's right.
Then second, I read something about vulnerability. Vulnerability is actually, it's not weakness. It's where I am in life right now. For me, it's a superpower. If I can be vulnerable with other people, that gives me, it does not make me weak. But does that mean I must be vulnerable to all people? Should I choose my audience, let me put it like that, with caution? I'm really trying to find my words here so I don't stumble. Yes, should I take it as a pinch of salt? Like, how am I supposed to navigate this world and this life in terms of vulnerability and avoid? Okay, but you can't really avoid being hurt. It's a part of life, but unnecessarily.
Yeah.
We start with the first one. Are we for women? Are we not?
Quite an interesting question, but I'm going to be as objective as I can.
Okay.
First of all, to say that one of the slogans that we use is a queen for a queen.
Oh.
A woman for a woman. And it's intentional statement because by the explanation you've given, by nature, that's not what a woman does. By nature. And I said I want to be objective and then get to the realities that we have to deal with. By nature, we are emotive. By nature, we are very competitive. By nature, we are envious. We are jealous. We are gossipers. That's just a girl in us. It's just how we roll. But then the question that comes in is, and by nature, we kill each other. We destroy each other. I'm going to leave a teaser. Even a home is broken by another woman.
Wow.
Isn't it? I mean, I heard the other the guest that was here, he said, let me not go to what he said, because he said something very interesting. Not interesting, but rather an opener for somebody who thinks like me and very analytical. I would have said, for a woman who had that, you better stop doing that. He said he gets them without him asking. I'm like, how easy can we get? How wasted are we as women that we don't have dignity for ourselves to throw things, you know, those kind of things. So I believe that by nature we have a lot of challenges. But that doesn't end there. There is hope, and that can be changed. And the journey of working with a woman, I will not tell you it's been a piece of cake. It's bittersweet because it starts with a lot of fear, and I'm doing that to usher in the second question. A lot of fear, there is no vulnerability, there is that barrier. We have set a lot of boundaries. We look at each other in the eye of, she looks better than me, she talks better than me, she She has a better car than me. She has better nails than, you know, that's how we look at each other. But the question I've always asked myself, is it true? Or our diversity should be what? It should be our weapon, not our distraction, our mass, what do you call it? The mass of what? Destruction or something. That is the word I'm looking for. Where you're destroying each other with our diversity. Instead, your beauty should complement me. I should write around, you're a beautiful girl, you're so beautiful. I shouldn't look at that as something to fight, but it's something to help me know that the daughters of Eve are flowers. They are amazing. So even if I'm not gifted in maybe physical beauty, I have inner beauty. Or maybe I'm gifted with wisdom or intellectual understanding. So there is a lot that women can harness together. But unfortunately, because I don't think most of the times we think through objective, we are very subjective. We are caught up in our inadequacies. And then for a woman, because I just call them flowers, we look at ourselves physically, with our physical beauty first. And it's good, but it's not the end. And I say sometimes the woman who looks like they are not so beautiful by the standards of human nature is just because maybe she hasn't found somebody to beautify her. She just needs somebody to put her together. I wasn't looking like this many years back. In fact, last night, and that just brought something into perspective, we were scrolling through the photos with the kids at home. And we came across a photo of my photo of 2008. I looked older than I do now.
Wow.
They could tell. They say, Mom, you are so stressed. You look so messed up. And I'm like,
wow.
You caught it.
Hey, kids are honest, eh?
Well, we are honest in our family. We are very honest people.
Okay.
We are very objective. And we have constructive criticism. So you look, I looked very messed up because I was going through a lot. But time passed on, and by God's grace, see, it doesn't look.
You don't even look like you have kids, honestly.
Oh, you should know the firstborn, how old she is.
How?
She's 23. Yes.
That is a voter.
Of course. Yes.
Hey, the Lord has kept you. And he continues to do so.
May he continue.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Please proceed.
Yeah, so ideally when you look at somebody, you may disqualify them because you haven't taken time to know what they are. Every one of us has something in them. There is something God deposited in each human being. We just need to discover it. But the problem with some of us, especially women, we really disqualify. Because if you don't look the part, I don't give you the part. Sometimes I just need to hone the skills in you and you become the part. When I finished my high school, I wasn't speaking like this. I used to shrub. I used to have the RL problem, the SH-CH issues. My English was not good. I mean, I was brought up in the village. And so everything about maybe my presentability. In fact, I saw a photo. I think, again, I was scrolling photos last night and I saw another one. And I was very quiet because I never used even to speak because I wasn't confident with my speech. But everybody asked, so what did you do? I said, I had to learn the part. Has it been easy? Of course not. Am I confident with the kind of a woman I've become? Sure enough, I can say right now, I am sober. But them years of my growth, especially I think my transition during teenage and college, is where I lost the balance because it's like I was walking a journey by myself. And most of the times I think that's where most of the people lose it, even women, because we have that fear. We are competing. We want to catch the attention of that young man, the attention of that guy who, so we are competing because we want to feed the part and look better. So in doing that, I think that's why it's hard to be vulnerable. But if we were to understand that each one of us is unique, and our uniqueness, I don't have to be you. You've played your part very well. I mean, I've watched how you do your thing. You're doing it so well. I know I do what I do very well. And I have also seen people with very low capacity come up and they become the person God ordained them to be. So I say yes, a queen for a queen. We can, but it takes work, intentionality, purpose, and the willingness to be vulnerable. Even though sometimes the Jezebels are still around.
Fun fact, I was actually just going to ask you.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe ask and answer. Does our background have something to do with it? Because honestly, how I grew up, I've never seen my mom or any other female figure around me competing with any other female. So this was an outside thing coming in. So I was very surprised when you thought you've made genuine friends, but this person is just competing with you or staying close to you because they think they can kanyota katarab off somehow. That wounded me when I started to understand that indeed not everyone who's coming close to kikulacho yani. That wounded me. I didn't really understand. I never had seen it before. So the dunia sasa ndio imekuja kunifunza vitu zingine. But as I was growing up, that was never something that I saw. I never heard ati, oh, she thinks she looks better than us, or she thinks she's that's never has been the language around me, which I'm very thankful for up till today. And driving vulnerability to, how did you start your initiative Queen for Queen? Where did the story come from?
All right, to just back you a little bit is to say that environment condition us. You may not be a competitive person, but I saw you get very competitive here.
No, I'm competitive with other things. Just not not in life like that. Like I would say if we're coming up for the same job, I will say that may the best man win. But I won't
just sit there.
Kuzimia alamu siamke mapema ati mimi ndio nifike. No, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But when we get there,
you want to fight. But again, the society we live in is very competitive. From the point of our upbringing, schools, I think right now is when they are changing the system. So you see, like the CBC system doesn't rank like the way we were brought up. We were really nurtured to compete. And even in the workplace, even here, you are competing against somebody to get that job, or if not here, to get promoted or something. It's a very competitive world. So despite the fact that probably somebody is not brought up in an environment where they compete, in one way or another, somewhere we meet competition. Now, what is the foundation of what we do? We don't put our foundation on competition. We put it on compliment and love. Basically, let's compliment each other. If you can speak so well, talk to us. If yours is to pray for us. Any position we feel it with the mindset that even my fingers are not equal. Let's just agree.
Oh, wow.
They're not equal. This one is small, but if it wasn't there, I'm disabled. So and even actually the most critical part of programs, even before we come to the limelight on the TV like this, you realize the people who are behind the scenes are the ones actually doing the bulk of the work. Yours, you just need to look nice and speak. But of course, you have to prepare. So every part of it matters. And so we are big on complimenting and loving each other. Because God is love. And that's all he wants us to love. So yeah, background matters. They somehow, some push us so much and they make us to be that person. But then once you're aware that that's what it is, and then the truth is revealed, then it's about time you neutralize it. Now, to your question, how was Hope and Beyond for Women born? Now, I said my name is Betty Gold. Gold is my husband. And Gold is another story for another day. Probably if you have another session. My sweetheart, I love him. I can even leave the whole segment for him. But then let me just... But before Gold, there was. Let me just say, before Gold, there was. And what was there was ugly.
Why would you say that?
Because I was in a relationship which was so painful for a period of 10 plus years. And I think I was abused and ostracized. I was rejected even in the very place that I thought I would get love from.
10 years.
Plus.
Wow.
Plus. But interesting enough, I had met gold before. Girls can be foolish. Told you is another day. Another story for another day. Girls can be foolish. And that's why I say, a queen for a queen. I help women to see the truths at their disposal without putting emotions to it. We analyze it. Because if I had a mentor during that period, probably I wouldn't have made those foolish choices. So I made foolish choices and got myself in a relationship with this man who I loved. Do I love him today? Of course not. But I have nothing against him. I forgave him and I walked away. And he gave me wonderful children. As a matter of fact, we don't have children with my husband. Any of our own. But we are taking care of ours. So we are in a blended family. But before him, there was. And so he married me with 3 kids.
Were you, this prior relationship, were you married?
I would say, yeah,
Come with it.
whatever that was.
Come to Kaito.
It's whatever it works.
Tutajua na mbele.
It was working.
Where is this going? Let us just go. We just go.
I was married, he wasn't.
Oh.
Do you know you can be married and somebody's not
You
married?
can be in a relationship but be single.
Yes, because I was, but he wasn't. He wasn't.
Hey, I feel like we are shouting at someone today, but these things need to be said.
Yes.
Surely.
I was in that relationship and we went through cycles and cycles. I was beaten. I was maligned. I was, like I said, abused in very many ways. And I also had my part of abuse. Let's not forget that it takes 2 to tango.
That's a very big thing to say.
I'm confident saying it because I have evaluated my part.
Okay.
My part was I allowed him to do that. He did to me. I had power to move out and to forget and to just cut ties, like I did eventually. But I stayed there hopeful that things would work.
He will change.
And he will change for me.
Oh, he loves me.
Oh, gosh. And he said all the right words, by the way.
They usually
And he did all, in public domain, you would never have thought there was anything wrong going.
My man, my man.
My man, my man. But he used to assign me time according to his prioritization with who were there before me. You know, let's laugh about it.
Hey. You're triggering me for absolutely no reason. Hey. Wow.
One time he called me a secretary. We met another lady on the streets of Nairobi. So we were just walking. And then I stood there and he said, oh, this is my secretary. And funny enough, do you know what he said to cover that up?
What?
He said, this is a business. I had to introduce the professional outlook about me. And just for me to later learn, this was his girlfriend.
What? The wife is being introduced as a secretary to the girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. And Afro-Cinema continues shortly. It was so messed up. I mean, let me just say, it was so messed up. I went through years and years of abuse. I allowed it. I became very toxic. I zoned out from, my family tried. And I always say whenever I'm having an interview, because I do interviews, I say thank you to my family. My mother, for a fact, was there. She kept saying, I can't tell you to move out. I don't break relationships, but I pray use your head.
But a woman in love, it's very hard to tell you something.
I wanted to prove that I can get married because I didn't think.
Okay.
I grew up knowing that to be married is an achievement.
Kuvumi, hey, a rite of passage. Hey.
Yeah, and I can say it boldly on national TV because I know what I knew. And I say it because I know there are so many people in the same space who think it has to be like that. And it has to be done like that. It doesn't have to be.
Okay, so first of all, let's just stay around that area for a minute.
Yes.
So we have biological clock. So if you're not married by sijui what age,
Yes.
there is something wrong.
That's
with
what they say.
Okay. You're African. See, at least ukwe hata una mtoto unanisaidia kulea. So una mtoto aje sasa. Okay. So nowadays, now that the LGBTQ plus community is a bit louder than it was before, because yati haijakuwa. So if you're not married at this age, or you do not have a boyfriend, then you must be
on the other side. Yeah, you belong to that community.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you have a man and you can't keep him, the problem is yours.
Is you.
Whether he's abusing you or not.
If you're divorced, you're a bad girl.
You're the problem.
If you have a child outside wedlock, you're loose.
You're a single man. So napenda tutabia mbaya.
You're loose. But there's nowhere they say a man is loose. A man conquers like that.
I asked someone last week, and it happened to be a gospel artist. Why are there so many? Okay, he was talking about ministry and, you know, reaching out and saving souls. I asked him, does gender play a part in this? Because why are there so many single mothers? Are we not speaking to the boy child? Because single mother either amefiwa, ama there's someone somewhere who's not taking responsibility. Yes, just hey, she's hit the nail on the head. I was beating the corner. No, it's a deadbeat.
The person is just beaten and dead and all that.
So when you're saving souls, who are you focusing on? And why? Like, no, you know, when you're a single mother, that means you are not being, you're not using
medulla.
I've not asked you about theirs. You're the man. Please, I'm asking you as a man. So we had a back and forth. It did not end well, but
first of all, I mean, just to give you a rejoinder, it takes two to tango. A child is not born without a man and a woman.
Yes, because I can't sit and think pregnant thoughts.
Both of them, yeah. And there is no child like Jesus Christ who was born out of the Holy Spirit. So every human being who is walking under this covering was born out of a man and a woman. It takes two to take care of a child. So when one fails and victimizes another, to me, it's hypocrisy. Just being hypocrites. Somebody wants to enjoy the goodies, but doesn't want to buy them. You want to go, pick them on the shelf, eat from there, and return an empty shelf. And then you blame her. Secondly, there is also another challenge where I would say women, because of this very continued lifestyle, they have also allowed themselves to become that. To say, I don't want him, but I want a child. And all this is because we forgot who we are. It's an identity crisis.
Wow.
I say it's an identity crisis. If you know who you are, you won't fall for a man to come play with you. I don't believe in relationships that are just, I don't believe in, what do you call them? This kind of relationships that are not casual. I don't believe in casual relationships.
They're called sneaky links.
Yes, nowadays. Where you want a child and no, those. Can you allow me to just say what they are? That's living in outside the will of God. That's not the purpose of God for human. God has a purpose. And then I also don't believe in polygamy. And I know I touched a button. I don't believe in it because you can't love two without hating the other.
Oh, wow.
You will have divided attention, one whom will receive favor. It's difficult. Though people do it, and they say, as long as I take care of her, it's all right.
I can afford.
You can't. 3 women for 1 man at the same time. A man is either, there is something he's lying to us about. He's not being honest. So knowing that, I say, a woman needs to know what God wants with her. She's such a wonderful creation in the eyes of God. Her purpose is so big. But then she gets contained in the fears and the societal decrees. So because of that, for me, I felt contained. I can't break it. They say a foolish woman breaks her house with her own hands. And a wise woman has to take care of her home and blah, 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 blah. That's what the word of God says. And it's true. I can refute because I'm a minister of the word of God. But I would say, the first question is it your home first of all, you chose it yourself? Because there's something, there is God's choice and your choice. And your choice, you'll keep it, and it will be hard. But God's choice, He'll keep it for you. So many people, many women are in their own choices of homes.
Where we now start playing wife material situations, not even in a girlfriend
How do you
setting.
start washing somebody's clothes before they
Cooking
marry
for him.
you?
Kwanza una meal prep. And then go back to your home.
Who told a woman that she's that? See, she's an item. She starts cooking, she starts doing, and then to make matters worse, okay, if you want to play the husband, please be a husband, provide. You ain't giving me even transport to come there, in doing nothing.
Unaguza kutumia fare. Sikia, listen to the crowd. They're even concerned. Kutumiwa fare.
You don't want to do anything, but you want everything from me. It doesn't work like
you
that.
don't know ladies of Nairobi are surviving on tap water and smoke. Am I lying? Am I lying?
Oh my goodness.
Unashibishwa na moshi na maji ya tap, alafu unaambiwa urudi. Time masaa yako imefika, shift imeisha bana.
And you will be leaving and somebody else, another shift is coming.
In
fact, I have an incident that happened recently when they were finishing. The other one came in and was sneaked in.
Ona sasa.
And some of them are the gospel ministers. They are they still do it. They're still doing it. It's a shame because character has been eroded from. Let me just surprise you. My ex, I met him in church. We were in the choir together. Dude, if you're watching, you know it.
Was he a drama?
No, he was a vocalist, but he has a very nice voice.
My Lord.
Yes, he was there. We met there. Now, God is good. I got married by a pastor. So we are doing work for the Lord together.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. And because the Lord has a way of restoring the years the cankerworms ate. But the question is, are you willing to allow Him do it? Because the biggest problem with every one of us and the whole mentorship program that we do is that there is the pain, but somebody doesn't want to let go of the pain.
Okay, because this conversation is getting getting hotter. The temperature is getting hotter. And I want to finish it with the conference that you were telling me about off
Yes,
here.
yes.
But I feel maybe perhaps what I'm hearing is sometimes that pain is comfortable. Have you ever gone somewhere and it doesn't smell very nice? But the longer you stay, the more you get accustomed to it, so that you don't really, the smell has left it. Now it's normal until you leave the room and then come back in and I'm like, or you leave and I'm like, hey, this air is different outside. So has the pain become such a source of comfort? Do we know nothing else but pain that we're afraid to let it go because we don't know what's out there?
Valentine, I would say yes, because you see, when you get caught up in something for long, it takes how long to make something a habit? 7 times repetitively, it becomes a habit. So you get used and you start thinking that's the lifestyle. I used to think Kenya was the most beautiful country. Of course it is. But I've traveled and I've seen the world. There are beautiful places out there. I used to think my githeri for my mom used to cook for me was the best. I have tasted food. Asian delicacy, American, Western, you know, Swahili delicacy, all through. And then I realized the diversity. What makes somebody get comfortable with pain is because, first of all, when they have not surrendered to their maker. I still say, when you have not allowed God to be the one who sets the foundation for you, He'll be able to pull out the things that are wrong in your life, and you will know them, by the way.
Take time bana. Mimi nataka nisolvie mashida zangu by
kitu kama hiyo.
But he's taking too long.
Too long how? Kwani wewe ndio unakuwa na time? He was before time. He is the owner of time. Show me what you did for you to wake up today.
Oh wow.
Show me what you do to make the sun set in the evening.
Oh, wow.
Whether you like it or not, the sun will rise and it will set. So from the rising of the sun and the setting of the same, God remains to be God. So He is the only constant. You change. Are you the same you were 2 years ago?
Not even yesterday.
Exactly. We change. The only constant that we can rely on is the one that does not change, and that is God. So if you say you have a time, the maternal clock is ticking, who told you your clock? Were you with him when he created you? Your clock is his. Sarah got a child at 99.
Wow.
Rebecca got a child after her sister had gotten 7 of them. Hannah had to wait. So if it's maternal for child, then we have examples we can look up to. Betty, finally, this woman you see here, got married with 3 kids. 3. My firstborn is 23, the other one is 16, the other one is 15. So I got married with them. Because when God's equation comes into, when God brings the answer to that equation, doesn't matter. The problem with us is we want to give the wrong answer, like we were answering the fanzo. Putting the wrong, you are trying to add, no, I want this to be PP. No, it's not.
IQ is impressive.
You want to fix it. Stop. You have no ability to fix. You are so helpless. God does not help those who help themselves. Absolutely not.
Say that one more time.
God is the helper of the helpless. And humans are helpless by nature. They rely on him for wisdom. They rely on him for air. You ever seen somebody breathing oxygen that is supplied daily? They buy it and how much it costs. Then you realize how sovereign our God is.
Wow.
The problem with us is we try so much to figure it out. Can I tell you something? I stopped. I am educated. I have traveled. I've interacted with high and mighty in many forums. I have done great things in this world. I say world because it's not only in Kenya. It's international. But there is one thing I've realized. It does not matter whatsoever. What matters is the foundation you set with God. Because he's the one who builds the blocks for you. And I'm going to finish before I say about the conference. Psalms 127 says, unless the Lord builds the house, the laborers will always do it in vain.
Oh, wow.
And unless the Lord watches over this city, even right now, for the things going on in this country, unless the Lord does it for us, it doesn't matter how Angukanayos we can sing. It doesn't matter how much we can fight and even go and try to impeach all the shenanigans we want to do. He is the only one who can fix things for us. So when we are so caught up in our own conventional wisdom, we lose it. And your conventional wisdom, Valentine, I can tell you, go back and evaluate. You realize how many mistakes you've done. But when you allowed godly wisdom, you will see how far he takes you. Sometimes he pulls you from this position and thrusts you to the door within a second. Within, I think I'd say 5 years of my poverty, 7 years of my poverty, God had come in, solved that problem for me. I had moved and I was driving and I was traveling worldwide. 7 years. From 7 years of poverty to 1 year of restoration. And in another few years, I got married. And things happen. The equation changes when God is the one with the answer. Jesus is always the answer. God always has the answer. But do we trust him? That's a problem. We lean on our own understanding, our conventional wisdom. A lot of, marriages don't work. I hear the young people, the Gen Z say, we fear marriages because they don't work. Who told you? Who told you they don't? It's you who told yourself, and you have relied on what you see. But marriages work. I'm a testament of the same. It never worked, and then it worked. And I've seen many marriages that work, but marriages work. They work and it works. So everything can become as God purposed them. So our work as for women is to prosper them internally, to take them back to the place or to the person God called them to be. And you know what their work is? They just help us. What a man can do, a woman can't do. Let's stop the lie. What a man can do, what a woman can do, a woman can do.
There's no need to compete.
We are not
never
competing.
meant to do the same things kindly.
Yes,
And
I
being
carry
feminine is
the
okay.
baby. He doesn't. He gives the seed. Period. I nurture the baby for 9 months. He gave the seed, I shot the baby, I trained the child.
You're my hero.
And he responds. So ideally, we just need to align. If you try to wear that shoe and put it on your head,
it will not work.
tell me how crazy you look. That's how sometimes we look as women. Anyway, we have an upcoming...
Go ahead, conference.
Sorry, I stepped on some toes, but it's part of setting back our foundations, right? We have an upcoming conference on the 2nd of November. That's this coming Saturday. It's going to be held at Tufungamano House from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are inviting every woman. If you have heard me today, any woman, doesn't matter the age, young, old, middle, whatever age you are, please come. Let's have a moment where we ask ourselves some questions. There's some questions we need to ask ourselves as women, and particularly to rebuild the foundations of womanhood. We are so beautifully made. We are so wonderful people. You see this beauty, you see the beauty of Valentine, you start realizing that God is able to put you back to the place of where He ordained you to be. So Karibu Sana, Ufungamano House on 2nd of November from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are charging, but if you hear this message and you come through this live broadcast, we will not charge you. That's the freebie that we'll give you. So just come and say you had it from the Y254 show, and we'll allow you to just come in. We'll not charge you. So this is going out to you. Come on, and let's be able to talk as women. And I know God is going to minister to us. Asante.
Thank you so very much for coming.
Yes.
I intend to keep you in my pocket in case I make foolish decision. I tell you, there's a son of... Daughters unakuwa Jezebel. Son
No, daughters of Eve and sons of Adam. But those bad ones are daughters of Jezebel.
And sons of?
Sons of...
Nebuchadnezzar, because...
No, sons of Lucifer. No, the bad ones have to be Luciferized. But daughters of Eve and daughters, Jezebel daughters need to stop being Jezebel, and they become daughters of Eve. Daughters of Eve are beautiful.
Yeah, we got this, shorties. It's just
Yes.
we gotta leave, we gotta go, but thank you so very much. Please make sure you go to the conference. You've heard it's the 2nd of November from 9 a.m. at
9 a.m.,
Ufungamano
yes,
House.
yes.
And if you hear it from here, free.
Free.
Bye,
And they can
guys.
check us out on our pages,
Okay.
Powered by Christ Ministries. Check us on our page. There's a group for Hope and Beyond for women. And you can check me out on Facebook, Betty Gold, and all social media handles, which includes Instagram, TikTok, and yeah, all that, except Spotify.
Like Mr. Fasa here,
I
like
know.
King Fasa, Spotify, and then...
It's not music, but I sing, but I'm not on Spotify.
Okay.
Anyway,
Oh,
yes, I do.
okay. No, we need you again for a whole other different segment.
Yes, we
should.
can,
Hey,
yeah.
you have. Hey, thank you so very much for coming.
Thank you, Valentine.
We will revisit, and hopefully you will turn up. I think I intend to. If I'll be around, I'm supposed to travel at some point, but I intend to. My name is still Valentine. We are still here on Y in the Morning. We are coming back to finish with the last leg, the last lap of the show. I used to hate that when they tell me in high school, but it is tail end of the show. So keep it here. I'll be right back in a really small while.